Alan Turing, the Enigma Codebreaker, the secret war that sparked AI, the man who fought time. The Enigma begins. Europe is burning. London sleeps with the lights off and one ear open. Across the channel, Nazi ciphers dominate the airwaves. Orders to submarines, convoy traps, kill zones. Each message sealed inside a machine the Germans call Enigma. With every keystroke, its rotors turn, and the alphabet turns with them, a lock that remakes itself while you're trying to pick it. The British government needs a miracle that won't fit on a poster, so it turns, quietly, to a man who looks like anything but a soldier. Socially awkward, literal, blunt, brilliant. Not the voice in the room, often the pause. He doesn't attack messages one by one. He studies the machine like a creature with habits. He believes patterns hide even inside chaos. Human repetition, mechanical constraints, ritual mistakes. Find the rhythm and you can bend it. Bend it and you can break it. The camera tracks through Bletchley Park, a country house turned into a hive. Rows of typewriters rattling, stacks of paper warm from the teleprinter, runners sliding slips through narrow doors. In the middle of it, one figure sits calm, relentless, surrounded by sketches of rotors and wiring, cups gone cold. He's not interested in the theater of cleverness. He's building a process, teaching a machine to do what a human would do if a human could do it fast enough. This isn't a war of guns and bombs alone. It's a war of minds, of who can turn logic into leverage before dawn. Every minute a message stays unread is a ship risking the long graveyard of the Atlantic. Every minute saved is a life turned 10 degrees away from death. And then the name lands, not shouted, but stamped, final, precise, inevitable. As the rotors tick, Alan Turing, the man who dared to think like a machine, where letters snarl and seconds bite. He teaches reason how to fight. The unseen genius, early life, and the birth of logic. Flashback. A lonely boy in London, 1910s and 20s. Mud on his shoes, ink on his fingers. A mind that grabs at puzzles as if they're rope on a cliff. Teachers want polish, he brings precision. Classmates laugh because difference is easy to bruise. He runs long distances to think, tinkers with chemicals to see what patterns do when they're left alone, and asks questions that feel like a dare. If the world is lawful, how deep do the laws go? Then, sunlight in a gray corridor. Christopher Markham. A friend, a mirror, a co-conspirator under the stars. Together they argue about numbers and nebulae. They share a private grammar of curiosity. With Christopher, Alan's awkwardness becomes fluency. And then, suddenly, grief. Markham dies. The floor drops. In the silence after, Turing writes and wonders, is mind just matter arranged in a particular way? Can thought be modeled without disrespecting mystery? The heartbreak doesn't close him. It focuses him. He makes a vow, not in words, but in work. Understand the mind through mathematics. Cambridge, King's College, finally a home for misfits of the right kind. He earns a fellowship, challenged and celebrated for the same unruly gifts. There he sketches a machine that doesn't exist, an abstract device that reads, writes, moves, follows steps. If any process can be described as steps, This Turing machine can do it. The idea is both philosophy and blueprint. It shows what can be computed at all. And it hints how to build a real machine that stores instructions alongside data, the seed of modern computing. At Princeton, under Alonzo Church, he refines the thought and tests its edges. Logic becomes a map of limits and possibilities. Proofs become rails he can run without slipping. When he returns to Britain, a young scholar with a razor of an idea, he is not yet a legend, just a quiet revolutionary who has given the future a grammar. A friend, a loss, a vow to see, to code the mind's machinery. Breaking the unbreakable, the turning point back to wartime Britain. Bletchley Park at full tilt, Hut 8 buzzing, ashtrays crowded, cups of tea stacked like barricades. The problem is naval Enigma, the hardest variant, the one that guides U-boats. Human brains can't outrun it. So Turing builds a brain of a different sort, the bomb. Picture rows of rotating drums, circuits arranged like arguments. Feed in a crib, a likely word and a message, and the machine tests millions of logical possibilities, discarding the impossible, spitting out a handful of rotor settings that might be true. Not guesswork, deduction at industrial speed. Colleagues like Gordon Welchman refine the design. Engineers multiply the machines. The sound of whirring drums becomes a new kind of artillery. Every minute matters. A decrypted message can reroute a convoy before dawn or miss it by a mile. Turing works strange hours, arriving with a chain for his mug to keep it from being borrowed, running long distances between storms, laughing suddenly at jokes that arrive like proofs. He pushes, and not everyone loves the push. He's not built for smooth politics, only for results. But results arrive. Keys fall, messages yield, dots on maps become paths away from death. And in the spaces between emergency and exhaustion, he is planting a deeper seed. The logic that turns ciphers into maps is the logic that turns instructions into thought. If a machine can follow the right steps fast enough, it can imitate intelligence in a way the world has never seen. He isn't claiming consciousness. He is operationalizing insight, making thinking something you can test, measure, and improve. The turning point isn't just a device. It's a doctrine. The belief that the right sequence of steps can move mountains no human could lift alone. It wins battles in the present and redraws the horizon of what machines might do. The shadow of betrayal, genius on trial, post-war Britain. The files are still sealed. The medals, if any, are secret. In public, Alan Turing is a mathematician, a computer pioneer, a man working on programs and patterns. In private, he lives honestly in a world that makes honesty a crime. In 1952, the state knocks. He is arrested under laws that the tone darkens. The same nation that trusted him with its deepest secrets instructs him to be ashamed of the most private truth. The man who fought machines now faces a machine made of people, paperwork, and policies grinding without mercy. He does not stage a public defense. He has no stage. He endures with wry jokes and stubborn work, running along country lanes as if speed could strip shame from the air. He broke the world's hardest code, but could never break society's prejudice. His home fills with notes, circuits, small experiments. The laughter comes less. The visits thin. He keeps writing, thinking, testing. refusing to let the law define the worth of his days. But the damage accumulates like rust you cannot see until the engine fails. The betrayal here isn't just legal, it's moral. A country took the quiet heroism it demanded, and then demanded a quieter life than any free person should accept. The gears he tuned to turn the tide now grind him down from deep inside. The legacy of thought, from Enigma to Eternity, 1954. Alan Turing is found dead from cyanide poisoning. By his bedside, an apple, half-eaten, a symbol in a room that needs none, a question that will never fully close. The inquest rules suicide. Friends argue accident. The world, still ignorant of his wartime heroism, barely registers the loss. And yet, in labs and offices he will never enter, his ideas are already living their second life. Years slide forward. Computers grow from refrigerator-sized to room-sized to something that hums in the palm of a hand. Programs learn to play games and then to win them. Algorithms translate, diagnose, recommend. Neural networks spot patterns we miss. Each leap traces back to a blueprint sketched by a young man who treated thought as steps and steps as power. He imagined machines that could think and made mankind think again. Eventually, the secrets open and the shame shifts. Governments apologize. In 2009, an official, "We're sorry. You deserved so much better." In 2013, a royal pardon. In time, laws change for the many, not the one. A 50-pound banknote bears his face. Awards invoke his name. Museums in old code-breaking rooms fill with school children pressing their hands to the glass of history, whispering, "He did this." Honor, however, cannot fill an empty chair. Legacy does not resurrect. The loss is permanent, the lesson urgent. If we want the future he made possible to be worthy of his name, we must keep two promises: protect difference and bind power to mercy. The machines he helped imagine can be magnificent tools, but it is our duty to make sure they serve human dignity, not erode it. He stood between the world and a darker night, with nothing but logic and will. He taught us that intelligence can be built, and that justice must be chosen. Sometimes it is the people no one imagines anything of who do the things that no one can imagine.